and godliness. When he saw that in some areas, like 19 districts are going through dry spells. So he called upon religious leaders from different faiths to come together in their respective gatherings to pray for the rains. That is leadership, that is godly leadership. And I would like to appreciate for the president for directing this country to prayer. I would like to thank all religious leaders as the chief presidential advisor on religious affairs for taking heed to what the president had said. We have seen it was overwhelming to see how much churches and different other denominations, Muslims and other faiths coming together to pray for the rains. And we can all witness that from the day the president actually made it clear that let's come together and pray, starting from Friday, Saturday and Sunday, heaven responded.
Government, through the Department of Disaster Management Affairs, DODMA, has received 370 metric tons of maize from the government of Zimbabwe to support people affected by hunger. The donation follows Malawi's declaration of a state of disaster in 28 districts last year. Margaret Mapando reports.
Speaking during the handover ceremony in Lilongwe, Chief Secretary in the Office of the President and Cabinet, Justin Saidi, expressed gratitude to the government of Zimbabwe for the timely gesture, saying the humanitarian aid will go a long way in supporting food insecure households across the country. Saidi added that the future now looks promising, noting that with the continued support from various stakeholders, the country may avoid food shortages.
The future looks bright because we are likely going to have no shortfall at all, looking at the support we are getting from Zimbabwe, even companies, banks here in Malawi, very wonderful support. I believe it's because His Excellency made it clear that we're in a state of disaster. All the 28 districts are affected, including the 4 cities. So people are coming in large numbers. They have trust in our state president. They have trust in the government of Malawi. And we are assuring people that we'll distribute this to the intended beneficiaries.
Meanwhile, Zimbabwe's ambassador to Malawi, Nancy Saungwami, says her country will continue supporting Malawi in its efforts to prevent hunger-related deaths.
At the end of the day, if you're a family, as a neighbor, we thought we should also just share the little what we've got, we share with our neighbor. So that's the humanitarian we are talking about. When you cry, when you hate, we also hate. And when we also had this problem some time ago in Idai, Malawi also participated in bringing in some things for Zimbabwe, some aid for Zimbabwe. So, yeah, the neighborliness is the first thing we think of, that we can actually help each other. We don't have to wait for so many people from outside. Let's do it and see how far we go.
The donation marks the second consignment of relief assistance from the Republic of Zimbabwe, with a third delivery expected at a later date. Margaret Mabando, MBC News, Lilongwe.
The National Food Reserve Agency, NFRA, has resumed buying maize from local traders and farmers. NFRA Chief Executive Officer George Macheka says the company is buying the maize at a new price of 840 kwacha per kilogram. MBC's visit at Mzuzu Depot found some trucks lining up to sell the produce. George Mkandawira reports.
NFRA has resumed buying maize nationwide, with activity picking up at Mzuzu Depot, where trucks have started queuing. Speaking to MBC, Chief Executive Officer for NFRA, George Macheka, all is set for the market at Mzuzu Depot, though they have web bridge challenges. Macheka was quick to state that they are currently using an landmark web bridge to ensure smooth sales as theirs awaits repair. According to the statement issued on Monday evening, the agency has now started buying maize at a new price of 840 kwacha per kilogram at designated markets across the country. It says this excludes Lilongwe City, where maize will be bought at Admark along the John Chilembwe Highway in Area 4. The agency says it has set the new price following research findings which indicate a decline in maize buying prices in different parts of the country. George Nkandawire, MBC Mzuzu.
In Lilongwe, the purchase of maize has also started. NFRA Senior Marketing and Corporate Affairs Officer Arthur Mpakeni, while confirming the resumption of the exercise, said the agency plans to engage government to increase funding for the program in order to purchase more maize. He explains.
The process has started okay. Since it's the first day, we have started receiving some trucks in other depots, and we expect to receive more trucks as the days proceed. When we are setting prices here at NFRA, we consider the prevailing prices on the market. So the current prices on the market, after doing a market research, we have identified that the prices have started to decrease. That's why I've also matched the prevailing prices to reduce this price to where we have reached. For the target, we are still in negotiation with the government on sourcing the funds, so we have not really set the specific target, as we are still discussing to get more funds so that we can procure a lot of maize. So we'll communicate the target in due course.
And at Limbi Depot in Blantyre, it is expected that about 5,000 metric tons of maize will be bought during the exercise. Davis Chikopa is Limbi Depot manager, and he explains.
Our expectation is that we are going to receive high quality maize in this depot. Currently, our capacity is still not fulfilled because, like I said, the capacity of this warehouse is around 5,000 metric tons. Now we only have 1,732 metric tons here. We need more maize so that we can, be sustainable in terms of providing the service that the government needs from us. We need high quality maize, because this maize is consumed by the Malawian people. We need high quality maize. We make sure that the standards are actually met. Okay, we check a lot of things before we start, receiving maize in the warehouse.
Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Ben Piri has urged Malawians to take personal responsibility for cleanliness in their communities and urban areas, warning that sanitation cannot be left solely in the hands of development partners. Piri made the remarks on Tuesday during a cleanup exercise around the newly constructed Lilongwe Bridge ahead of its handover to the government of Malawi today. The exercise was ahead of its handover to the Malawi government tomorrow, Thursday. The exercise was led by the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA. Details in this report by Yanko Kashingwe, read by Catherine Banda.
Speaking after the cleanup exercise, Minister of Local Government Ben Piri expressed disappointment that City Council authorities could not initiate the cleaning exercise. He said the best way of showing appreciation to the Japanese government, which constructed the bridge, would have been to initiate the cleaning and sustain it.
I'm joining this with a sense of shame and embarrassment that surely we could wait for a partner to lead us in such an exercise. Our cities are ashamed in terms of hygiene, cleanliness. You heard from the ambassador that they have got a day in their country when everybody gets out to clean the cities, to clean the parks, to clean everything. We don't have a proper day. We may have a day that was established, but we no longer observe that. So I am joining this to set a tone of the days to come when we make our cities clean, we make our homes clean, we make our neighborhood clean, and it begins now by joining this in a great pen.
Japanese ambassador to Malawi, Yasuo Shinaito, said the cleanup exercise was organized to promote environmental awareness and collective responsibility ahead of the official handover of the Lilongwe Bridge to the government of Malawi.
Cleaning is a co-ownership, it's a respect to others. And then we usually do it in Japan, but it is a part of our philosophy. It is with the thankfulness, appreciation of everything with near us, and then and also respect to others. But while having fun of cleaning.
The Lilongwe Bridge was constructed by the government of Japan at a cost of 37.4 billion kwacha and is expected to ease traffic congestion and enhance connectivity within the capital city.
This is MBC News, a reminder of our top stories. Religious leaders commended for overwhelming response to President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika's call to lead in national prayers for rain amid dry spells. The National Food Reserve Agency resumes buying maize from local traders and farmers. The first phase of polio vaccination launched with a call to Malawians to fully patronize the exercise. Welcome back. The first phase of polio vaccination has been launched with a call to Malawians to fully patronize the exercise. Deputy Minister of Health and Sanitation Charles Chilambula officially launched the exercise at Maketa Primary School ground in Blantyre. Chilambula said it is the wish of government to vaccinate not less than 95% of children below 10 years. Temba Mwale and Alu Fisher have filed this report.
The first phase of the vaccination campaign, which runs from 11 to 14 February, will cover 8 districts of Blantyre, Chiradzulu, Zomba, Tyolo, Chikwawa, Nsanje, Neno and Mwanza. The campaign follows the emergency of a new variant of polio, which has been discovered in Manasseh and Sochi sewage facilities in Blantyre. In his remarks, Deputy Minister of Health and Sanitation Charles Chilambula called on parents and guardians to children under the age of 10 to ensure that their children are vaccinated.
The launch of this polio vaccine is very important to this country, as we have cases which have been found here in Blantyre of polio, and we have detected polio in the waters of the sewer systems here in Blantyre. So it's very important because the virus the strain of the virus we have found is the one which is different from the vaccines which we have been giving the other time. So it's very important that we do the vaccine now because it will also deal with this virus which we have detected now. So we need to have our children vaccinated again, even though they were vaccinated before. But because the strain of the virus we have is different, that's why we want them to be given this vaccine again.
During the event, the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, also handed over 17 motorcycles to Blantyre District Health Office to help ease mobility challenges in the course of health service provision. Commenting on the gesture, the Deputy Minister said the motorcycles have come at a right time when health personnel are facing mobility challenges as they respond to cholera and polio outbreaks. UNICEF's Chief of Health, Dr. Joe Collins Opio, has since hailed the manner and agency with which the government has handled the polio outbreak.
We're here to support and complement the government of Malawi in its swift and quick response to the polio outbreak that has been identified in Blantyre. We're very delighted that the government has taken a very decisive and robust response to the outbreak. As partners, our role is to ensure that government has the right resources to respond to the outbreak. We're providing support to bring in vaccines to the country. The vaccines have already arrived and will soon be distributed to all the health centers across the 8 districts. And we hope that by the 14th, the outbreak will be completed. The outbreak response will be completed properly, and we can protect at least our population from the outbreak.
In the first phase of the vaccination campaign, government, in partnership with UNICEF, have procured 1.7 million doses of the polio vaccines. The campaign is expected to roll out to the rest of the country 4 weeks after the first phase. Temba Mwale, MPC News, Blantyre.
The Pesticides Control Board has advised Lero Sugar Company in Nchalo, Chikwawa to improve on how it handles expired pesticides and disposal of empty bottles of pesticides. Public Relations Officer for the board, Leston Banda, made the remarks during a tour to the facility. Details in this report.
Upon arrival at the chemical storage facility for Lero Sugar Company in Nchalo Estate in Chikwawa, officials from Pesticides Control Board were kept for hours waiting for a clearance to go inside the facility for inspection. The company completely banned the media from taking videos inside the facility. From here, PCB officials visited Kasintula Cane Growers Limited in the district, where they freely inspected pesticide storage facility. In his remarks, Public Relations Officer for PCB described the tour as a success despite facing minor challenges.
We have visited two places, one of which is the Nkhani estate, which is under Irovo. There we have inspected their storage facilities. In fact, we have seen that the storage facility is quite good. It has all the requirements that are required for a pesticide store. However, we have uncovered some other issues, which include the storage of expired pesticides, the storage of empty containers, which they are supposed to be disposed. But also, we have seen that the store itself is not properly arranged in terms of how pesticides are supposed to be kept. So those are some of the issues that we have uncovered. Unfortunately, we are also not happy because of the way we were received. We expected to have a media coverage, but that did not take place. We are very, very unfortunate. We expected that company, Irovo as a very big company, to handle us as a government entity. From there, we traveled to Kasinthula Cane Growers Limited. We have visited their stores as well. We have seen that the store is quite good. It has got very good ventilation. The workers are very good taken care of, and they conduct some medical checkups, which is very, very recommendable for Pesticides Control Board. However, we have seen that some of the officers, particularly those that apply pesticides and that handle pesticides, they have not yet trained. So we have instructed them to make sure that all those people who handles and apply pesticides are properly trained.
Safety Health and Environmental Officer for Kasinthula Cane Growers Company, Moses Sumani, commended the board for the visit, promising to improve in the areas they are failing.
They have made a good recommendations regarding our stores, the way we are keeping our herbicides, the way we are using them, and their recommendations, we have also taken note of them, mainly two, that we have a well-trained people or certified by the board, so which that we have taken note and we are going to do as soon as we are about to start the season.
Board chairperson for Pesticides Control Board, Dr. Victor Mandropa, said overall they have noted that there is lack of knowledge on how to safely use pesticides, hence they will conduct a campaign to teach best practices. Simeon Boyce, NBC News, Chikwawa.
Mangochi Civil Society Organizations Network says people in the district have high expectations on the 5 billion Kwacha Constituency Development Fund as government plans to roll it out soon. Chairperson for the network, Joseph Makwakwa, has told NBC that stakeholder consultations and engagements have established that infrastructure development remains a major priority in communities. Francis Banda has filed this report, read by Owen Mavula.
Stakeholders, including local leaders and civil society organizations in Mangochi, are expressing satisfaction with government's handling of the reformed Constituency Development Fund, CDF, following the increase of the fund from 220 million kwacha to 5 billion kwacha. For its part, Mangochi Civil Society Organizations Network, through its chairperson, Joseph Makwakwa, says common development projects that communities are looking forward to having include quality school, health and road infrastructure, and expressed optimism that the civil society networks will continue to play an oversight role of ensuring transparency and accountability.
We wanted to make sure that the projects that are being identified really help the communities. We don't want to just have rubber stamp projects. We're looking at the VAP that were there, and then the current developments that have also taken place. So what we're looking at is, do we really benefit from this? Is there value for money? We're talking of 5 billion. This is a lot of money, and we'd like to see value for that money. So I think assessors, we have been involved, and we'll make sure that the implementation of the projects is done, and we take part in terms of transparency and accountability. So that will be our key role this year.
In her remarks, Chairperson of Chowe Area Development Committee, Farida Daudi, said apart from improvement of health and road networks in the area, which falls under Mangochi Malombe constituency, there is also a need to ensure that more teachers are employed to meet the surging enrollment following the rolling of free primary and secondary education by government.
The first thing that I see is about schools. Like we have so many schools here in Malombe, but many children does not go to learn there because of the education which is also promoted in that schools. So I wanted to just say that maybe if the government could give us more opportunities of teachers in some of our schools so that some students can go to school and learn properly and write the exams properly. So yeah, maybe a lot of people here in Malombe will be happy about that.
Kunogo kumaiwa chintu chachikulu chimene.
The first development we want here is the upgrading of road networks. Here at Maiwa area, we are blessed with good soil for agriculture, and the roads can help to facilitate the movement of farm produce to the markets.
Ndeno titakhala kuti kunoko nkhani ya sewu uli bwino kwambiri zikhoza kupitisa pasogolo alimi athu.
The increase in Constituency Development Fund CDF from 220 million kwacha to 5 billion kwacha is part of the Democratic Progressive Party DPP's manifesto seeking to support local development projects at community and district level.
In international news, South Africa and Kenya are working to repatriate their citizens who were recruited under the promise of lucrative opportunities, only to discover they are expected to fight in Ukraine. Russian and South African leaders have pledged their support to the process of returning those fighting alongside Russian forces in Ukraine. Telson Magombo with the full story.
The civilians were recruited under the promises of lucrative jobs and opportunities by some agents through fake job offers and social media manipulation, only to discover they are expected to fight in Ukraine. In South Africa, 17 citizens aged 20 to 39 are reportedly trapped in Ukraine's Donbas region. The South African President Cyril Ramaphosa says his government is working to bring them home, condemning the exploitation of South Africans by individuals working with foreign military entities. On the other hand, Kenya has already rescued nearly 20 citizens and is intensifying diplomatic efforts to secure the release of others. Telson Magombo, MBC News.
And that's the news for now. A recap of our top stories before we leave. Religious leaders commended for overwhelming response to President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika's call to lead in national prayers for rain amid dry spells. The National Food Reserve Agency resumes buying maize from local traders and farmers. The first phase of polio vaccination launched, with a call to Malawians to fully patronize the exercise. Keep up to date with our news coverage on our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You are with me, Obile Kaisa. Thanks for watching. Good morning.
Good morning and welcome. It's time for weather update. We should expect cloudy conditions with scattered thunderstorms and rains to persist over most areas. Looking at the weather system, we have a combined effect of Congo, air mass as well as the ITCZ, hence these rainfall activities. Therefore, this morning mild conditions are expected across most areas, whereby Kasungu and Lilongwe are expected to reach a minimum temperature of about 18 degrees Celsius, while Fongabu and Nsanje 25 degrees Celsius. Cloudy conditions with scattered thunderstorms and rains are expected over some areas along the lakeshore, central, and some areas in the southern part of our country. In the afternoon, hot conditions are expected over most areas, whereby Karonga and Monkey Bay are expected to reach a maximum temperature of about 28 degrees Celsius, but Fongabu and Nsanje 33 degrees Celsius is expected. In the afternoon, again, cloud conditions with thunderstorms and rains are expected over most areas, but heavy spots are also expected over some areas in Dedza, Ncheu, as well as Zomba. Thanks for watching. I'm Charity Mapondo. Be wise, be weather-wise.
At the heart of Malawi's development story, in line with our 2063 aspirations, is a community voice that engages duty bearers in meaningful conversations that empower and give hope.
For over 20 years, MBC's development